Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to this Genx video. Today we are going to be talking about the Sisterhood of the Bene Gessert from the Dune novels. The reason why I chose to do this is because here in November we will be getting the Dune prophecy, which takes place about 1,000 years before the birth of Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, our person from the first novel. Depending on your frame of reference, depending on if you've read the novel or have just seen the movies or one of the movies or one of the series that Science Fiction Network did. How you see Paul as a hero, anti-hero, villain, whatever, is up to interpretation. I kind of see him as a very flawed hero that gives in to his weaknesses, but that's just my take on it. But back to the Bene Gesserit. These have always been a fascinating sisterhood. Their powers, what they inspired in later incarnations of science fiction, and what have you. It's just fascinating. It's my understanding that the new series that we're going to be getting in November is loosely based on Sisterhood of Dune by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. Brian Herbert as an author is, in my opinion, not as strong of an author as his father, nor does he understand the universe that his father created. He has some really good ideas and put some decent framework down, but the stories as a whole, at best, are meh. They're not bad stories. I mean, they're not, they're not just straight up trash stories. I mean, a lot of people make them out to be a lot worse than what they are. They're just, when you compare them to Frank Herbert, his father, yeah, they suck. But compared to other sci-fi authors currently out there on the market, he's not that bad. He's just meh. He's not good. He's not great. He's not bad. He's just meh. Like I said, some of his novels have good ideas. Just very, very poor or not well thought out execution of these ideas. But yeah, Sisterhood of Dune is, from what I understand, is what inspired or basis of the Dune prophecy coming up in November. The Bene Gesserit are the sister. It's all female, hence the name Sisterhood. group of super witches, women that have been trained, who've been bred specifically to be trained, and basically martial arts, mental arts, controlling their own body to the point that they can determine the sex of a child by killing off the sperm that would produce the sex that they don't desire. They have that finite control of their body. They can ingest poison and convert the poison into something benign that their body can handle. They super agile fighters, can basically pick up just about any weapon and instantly use it effectively. And they're also the basis for people like George Lucas. His inspiration for the Jedi, the Sith, the Witches of Dathomir, the unnamed cult of witches in the Alkalite series, all have the genesis in Frank Herbert's Bene Gessert. The Force powers, Jedi, the so-called Jedi mind trick, is something that was inspired by the Bene Gesserit, The Voice. But in the novels, they describe it as so much more than a mind trick. It is compelling somebody to do something, and they're consciously aware that they want to, that they're being controlled, but they can't do anything about it. Or they can use it in such a way that the person is completely thinking it's their own idea, depending on what the effect that the Bene Gesserit want at a particular moment or given in time. And unlike the Jedi mind trick, they don't have to, they can, what they want you to do is carried on the sound waves, not necessarily the words. They could say something as benign as "Have a nice day," and have the thought behind it to go get me a drink of water, or go do this, go do that. And all everyone heard was them walk up and say, "Hey, have a nice day." But it's how they say it, their knowledge of the person, how their mind works, what frequencies to use, how to use it. And in the novels, especially the first three novels, or the first two novels mainly, the third novel to a certain degree, Children of Dune, yeah, but more so in Dune Messiah and Dune itself. I believe it's Children of Dune where we get a good hard breakdown of the voice, how the voice is used. Where in the George Lucas inspired Jedi mind trick, they got them waving their hands and doing all this stuff. The Bene Gesserit just did it. They didn't have to, do any fancy flourishes or anything. They just said what they had to say to get done what they needed to get done. They were also extremely skilled fighters. They fought, they were, for lack of a easy recognizable comparison, they were like Jedi Master level. Actually, Jedi level Master would be far below what a Bene Gesserit's fighting skills would be. Between using the voice, using their martial prowess, yeah, they were feared. Matter of fact, it's their fighting styles considered the weirding way. And in the novels, it's just described as this badassery, and doesn't go into a lot of detail, because even the author or the person telling the story can't explain it. And that's the reason why you have so many different interpretations of it in the different movies. And David Lynch's movie, it's, yeah, they really screw that one up. As much as I enjoy that movie, Lynch screwed the pooch on that one. But the 2001 and 2003 Dune series on Science Fiction Channel. I think I got that wrong. I think it's actually 2000 and 2003. Or 2002, excuse me. They showed us just like an ultra fast blur move, which is kind of part of it. And in the Villeneuve movies, the first movie, we don't get any of it in the second movie. In the first movie, when Jessica takes Stilgar out, it's just boom. And you get to see it, but it looks more like she just overpowered him. She's just a better fighter, which, I mean, she is, but it doesn't, you don't get the gravitas. It's hard. That is one of the things that Herbert wrote so well. Frank Herbert wrote so well, being so vague. And all of the detail is left up to the reader, how you visualize it. And that's just, you know, that's, you know, your Bene Gesserit are these badasses. By the time you get to God Emperor Doom, or actually about halfway through Children of Doom and the God Emperor Doom, the Bene Gesserit are, you know, they kind of licking their wounds, realize, okay, we need just to step back and chill and see how this whole human hybrid worm thing is going to do, because there's nothing we can do to combat them, so we're just going to sit back. So for the next 3,500 years, they just kind of sat back and did a lot of plotting and stuff in the background. Then you have, and after the death of God Emperor Leto Atreides, like I said, that's roughly 3,500 years after the end of Children of Doom. We get Heretics of Doom. Now, I forget right offhand the time jump between God Emperor and Heretics, but you had this big diaspora. Leto, the God Emperor, died, basically freeing humanity from his tyranny. And it's hard to explain that novel, but I may try at some point, but I don't know. The tyranny of that novel, the tyranny of his rule for 3,500 years, and how much he personally hated that, the way he had to rule in order to save, to force humans to rebel. that's basically what it took. Is he had to be so tyrannical that he had to force the humans to rebel. Then after his death, they rebel, he dies. You have this great diaspora throughout the universe. I mean, through the known universe and into unknown parts of the universe. The Bene Gesserit, some of them go on this diaspora to keep their sisterhood alive, and a lot of them stay back. We roll into Heretics of Dune, and what you get is the addition, the evolution of the sisterhood into the honored matrices. Now these are like the Bene Gesserit on super steroids. Their pheromones are so intoxicating. If they decide they want somebody to be their slave, they're basically their sex slave, they can do it. And it doesn't matter the person's gender, sexual orientation, gender identification. If they decide that that's what they want, that person does it. Plus, they have the voice, they have the weirding ways, the fighting, the martial arts, the weirding ways. But their martial arts have even surpassed the insanity of what the insanely good of the Bene Gesserit, the original Bene Gesserit. And then the honored matrices and the original Bene Gesserit go to killing each other. I mean, there can only be one. They've decided that there can only be one. You can either be a Bene Gesserit or an honored matrice. Can't, both can't, correlate. They both can exist together. Now, by the end of Heretics, we get kind of a woman that was trained and basically unites them, forges out a new Bene Gesserit honored matrices type sisterhood. Then we get into Chapter House, and Chapter House is just way too weird, and I don't have the time right now to go into Chapter House, because Chapter House is really, really weird. It deals with clones and machines and sex slaves, and like I said, Frank Herbert's enjoyment of psilocybin mushrooms, starting in Guard Emperor Doom, Heretics Dune, and in Chapter House Dune. His enjoyment of the effects of psilocybin are very, very apparent and very upfront. But as weird and as strange and as crazy as these get to be, they still got a good story. I don't know if Brian Herbert ever indulged in such recreational amenities. So that might explain his inability to grasp his father's world. If he hasn't, taken a ride on a mushroom, he may not. That might be the reason why. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna call this good here. I hope you enjoy the video. Hope everyone else out in the world is having fun. And remember, be a good human. Be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?